Hello friends, once again welcome to Aifer Education. We are discussing different topics of UGC NET paper 1 logical reasoning. So we are moving to the final major topic. So we have Pramanas or Indian logic. So while discussing about logical reasoning or the initial discussion of the syllabus, I have told you that basically most of the questions in the last few exams are coming from three topics: square of opposite and related things. Then we have formal and informal fallacies. Then we have Pramanas or Indian logic. So we are discussing now Pramanas or Indian logic. So first of all, what is Pramana? What is Indian logic? It seems to be a bit tough topic when you hear the different terms in this particular topic like Pratigna, Hedu, Udaharana, Upanaya, Nigamana, Ashra Siddha, Swarup Siddha, Savyabhijara, Anaikhantika, Pakadharmada, Sabagaswata. It seems a bit tough, but believe me, it's an easy one. It's just terms, the concepts are very easy. So, Pramanas are source of knowledges or the sources of knowledge. We can say Pramanas are the sources of knowledge. For example, if you're preparing for UGC NET, Aifer Education is a Pramana. YouTube is a Pramana, Google is a Pramana, ChatGPT is a Pramana, different AI tools or different online platforms, books, coaching institutes, all are different Pramanas. So very simply, Pramanas are sources of acquiring knowledge. Okay, so we have Pramanas are sources of acquiring knowledge is what we have Pramanas is all about. So Pramanas are sources of acquiring knowledge. So as per Indian logic, okay, so as per Indian logic, we have 6 different Pramanas. Okay, as per Indian logic, we have 6 types of Pramanas. There are, firstly, we have the Pratyaksha Pramana or perception. Then we have Anumana Pramana or assumption. Then we have Upamana Pramana or comparison. Then we have Arthapatti Pramana or implication. Then we have Anupalabdhi Pramana or apprehension and non-apprehension. And finally we have Shabda Pramana, word or verbal statement. So let's try to understand each of the Pramanas. So firstly, we have the Pratyaksha Pramana. As the name indicates, Pratyaksha Pramana is knowledge based through the perception, through the sense organs, by hearing, seeing, so on and so on. So basically we have 2 different classifications of Pratyaksha Pramana. Firstly, we have a classification of direct perception and indirect perception. Okay, firstly within Pratyaksha Pramana, we have the classification of direct perception or Anubhava and indirect perception or Smriti. So we have firstly direct perception, Anubhava or indirect perception, Smriti. Okay, so direct perception is all about what we can say the knowledge we get by directly through the sense organs. You are watching me now and you know Mr. Anees Poovathi is speaking to you, okay, taking the class, my sound you are hearing. So it's a direct perception, okay, direct perception. Even though it's in the online, we can say it's a direct perception. So when it comes to indirect perception, it will be the knowledge based on the what we can say the sound. For example, now my video it's not visible, my video, and you are hearing my voice and you know that it's Anees Poovathi because previously you have heard my voice and from your memory you are checking and verifying that this is Anees Poovathi. So direct perception, direct hearing, indirect perception, heard some before, and from the memory we are concluding that. That's we have direct and indirect. Next we have determinate or indeterminate. Okay, determinate or indeterminate. Determinate is also known as we have Savikalpaga or Nirvikalpaga. Okay, determinate also known as Savikalpaga and indeterminate we have it as Nirvikalpaga. Okay, so we have determinate, Savikalpaga, and indeterminate, we have it as Nirvikalpaga or Nirvikalpaga. So indeterminate, when the Savikalpaga is a case in which we have the relationship between the subject and object is immediately established. Okay, in case of determinative savikalpaka, okay, in case of determinative savikalpaka, we have the relationship between the subject and object is immediately established here, okay, immediately established. For example, I'm telling you this pen. When I say the term pen, this pen, the term pen and the original pen object, the relationship is immediately established. That is savikalpaka. And when it comes to indeterminate, okay, when it comes to indeterminate, the relationship between the subject and object is not immediately established. I tell you the pen that I shown you the last Saturday. So immediately that pen and the term pen is not, you can't immediately establish the relationship. So savikalpaka or determinate, when the relationship is immediately established, and nirvikalpaka or indeterminate, the relationship is not immediately established. Similarly, the classification of the laukika and alaukika, okay, is also based on the Pratyaksha Pramana. Then coming to the next Pramana, Anumana Pramana, or we have the assumption. When it comes to Anumana Pramana, it's based on the what we can say knowledge gained through assumption, okay, based on what we already know. For example, the most classic example when it comes to Anumana is when you're walking through somewhere and near a hill, you saw smoke coming out of the hill and you conclude there is fire in the hill. So that's based on our prior knowledge. That's what Anumana is all about. We have a different example here too. We can assume that if a person is crying, and you can assume that he is having either a physical pain or an emotional pain. A person cries only when he have either a physical or a emotional pain. Okay, physical or a emotional pain. So this is what we have. Okay, Anumana. Okay, we have Anumana. Then we have Upamana Pramana or comparison. Okay, here we have what we can say comparison of something. Okay, a knowledge acquired through some sort of comparison. For example, I know a dog is an animal with 4 legs that barks. So if I go to Africa and I saw an animal somewhat like a dog and it creates a sound somewhat like a barking an Indian dog, and I may conclude that it's an African dog. So that's a comparison. I have the knowledge of what a dog is all about, and from that, okay, from that what I will be telling is that from that I will be comparing and acquiring a new knowledge. So that's what we have, Upamana. Okay, Upamana. Then we have Arthapatti Pramana. Arthapatti Pramana is knowledge we get based on the assumption. I will say it's a knowledge based on what we can say as a supposition, belief and presumption. Okay, it's a knowledge we get based on the, okay, it's a knowledge we get based on the supposition, belief and presumption. Okay, it's based on the supposition, belief and presumption. So we have, for example, if you see a healthy person and he says that he does not sleep at night, we may conclude that he is sleeping in the day. It's just a presumption. Okay, so if you have a healthy person, if you have a fat person and he says that he doesn't eat anything in the day, and we conclude that he is eating a lot in the night. So this is what we have, Arthapatti. Okay, we have as Arthapatti. Moving to the last two, Anupalabdhi Pramana. Anupalabdhi Pramana or non-apprehension is that when you can't perceive something, you say it doesn't excite. You live with me for a day and you can't see my mobile phone, I'm not using, and you conclude that I don't use mobile phone. You come to my home and in the dining hall, you can't see the dining table, okay, and you conclude that there is no dining table in the house. You can't see a jar in the kitchen or on the table, you say there is no jar. So here, what cannot be perceived is non-existent. Here we are concluding that what cannot be perceived is non-existent. Okay, non-existent. This is what we have when it comes to apprehension. And moving to the last one, okay, next we have the last one, that's a Shabda Pramana. Okay, we have the last one as Shabda Pramana. It's a Pramana, word or verbal statement. Okay, it's a Pramana or it's a knowledge that is received through words. Okay, Shabda Pramana is a Pramana where the knowledge is received through words. For example, if you are reading something or if you are hearing my voice, if you are getting the knowledge through the voice, or if you are getting the knowledge through some words, that's a Shabda Pramana. So that's the first 6 sets of Pramanas. I will just revise. We have the first one, Pratyaksha Pramana, perception. When we get the knowledge through the direct perception, okay, what appears. So we have different classification. Firstly, we have direct or indirect, which is also known as Anubhava or Smriti. Direct is also known as Anubhava, Smriti is known as indirect. Anubhava means direct, you are seeing me, watching me, and Smriti is from the memory. Then we have a classification of Savikalpaga and Nirvikalpaga. Savikalpaga is determinate, when the relationship between object and the subject, this pen, is immediately established. In Nirvikalpaga, the relationship is not immediately established. Then we have Anumana Pramana. Based on our knowledge, you walk through nearby a hill, you see smoke in the hill, and you conclude there is fire in the hill. Then we have Upamana Pramana. It's based on the comparison, Indian dog, African dog. Then we have the Arthapatti Pramana. It's based on the implication, okay, presupposition. He's healthy, he doesn't eat during the day, which means he eat during the night. Anupalabdhi Pramana, you go to a classroom, you can't see any students, and you conclude that there is no students in that class or that school. Okay, Shabda Pramana, when you have the knowledge is being, you get through what we can say words or verbal means. Okay, so this is all about the different Pramanas. We'll be discussing more in the upcoming videos. So as to get many more such videos, make sure you subscribe to Aifer Education YouTube channel. To know more about Aifer, visit our website www.aifer.in. Thank you.